It's no secret that when it comes to pure gaming performance, Intel CPUs have been on top for many generations running. With the introduction of the Coffee Lake Refresh 9th generation processors and the expansion of the lineup to include not only standard Core i5s and i7s, there's now an i9 in the mix as well. But the question remains, are they any better than the 8700K in gaming applications? That's what our testing today is going to attempt to answer. Before we get into the real substance of this video, I want to take a second to send a big thank you to Computer Upgrade King. They're friends of the channel, and when they heard that I was having issues sourcing both a 9700K and a 9900K for this video and for future testing, they didn't hesitate to reach out and offer to send them over. To say thank you, I offered to show off their new 9th generation desktops. So this right here is the Mantis. It's available in basically every combination you could want, from the budget Ryzen 3 build all the way up to a 9th gen i9 with a 2080 Ti. This one right here has a 9700K and an RTX 2070. And if you're interested in a pre-built, check out the links in the video description. Thanks again to CUK, without whom I would not have been able to make this video. So here in front of me, I have the 4 CPUs that could have a reasonable claim to being the best gaming CPU for 2018. No, there are no AMD products here, and despite the likely comments incoming that I'm an Intel shill, the proven fact of the matter is that while Ryzen, and especially Ryzen 2, continue to close the gap in overall performance, and higher clock speeds from chips like the 2600X are enabling great gaming experiences, in a pure numbers sense, they still can't touch the capabilities of the blue team when it comes to solely laying down the most frames in the shortest amount of time. So fire away, AMD fanboys, I know it's coming. This is the returning champion 8700K, Intel's first mainstream processor with more than 4 cores, and for the past year or so, the consensus best gaming chip on the market, bar none. The fact that it also sports 6 cores and 12 threads, along with stellar IPC, means that not only can you play your games, but you can also let other people watch you play your games by streaming out to Twitch or for recording purposes to upload to YouTube later. While the 6700K and 7700K were good, the 8700K was in another class entirely and was widely available for about $360 to $380. The 9th gen refresh sees the introduction of even more cores at the top end, but the i5 kept the same config as the outgoing 8600K, that's 6 cores and 6 threads. Retailing at somewhere in the neighborhood of about $270, the 9600K is slightly more expensive this time around, although it keeps the same 14 nanometer lithography, the same reported 95 watt TDP, the same memory support, and the same number of PCIe lanes. In fact, the only thing that's really changed is the clock speed and the thermal interface material, which are likely at least somewhat linked. Because these chips are now soldered, Intel can clock them higher, and the 9600K can boost up to 4.6 GHz out of the box. The i7 9700K has actually a rather bizarre core configuration that we've never seen before on any processor, to my knowledge. This generation bumps up the core count to 8, but removes hyperthreading. We still get the soldered TIM and 95 watt TDP, although actual power draw and heat generation far outstrip the rating on Intel's website. The 9700K can boost up to 4.9 GHz, however, meaning that this will likely be a stellar performer in games. And then we get to the new i9, nomenclature introduced on Intel's HEDT lineup last year. This is the 9900K, and although this is an actual retail sample, it's still basically a unicorn over a month after launch. You still can't buy this product if you want one unless you have an uncanny fast reaction to getting the in-stock alert email from Newegg. Trust me, I tried for literally weeks before I gave up. I suppose if you really want one, you can buy from third-party resellers or venture into the wild, wild west of eBay price inflation, where they're going for $800 to $1,000. Don't ever pay that much for this product. I'll spoil the ending here a little. It's good, but it's not $1,000 good. With 8 cores and 16 threads, it has the exact same configuration as the i7-5960X, which for years was the end boss of the X99 HEDT lineup. However, this processor isn't stuck with a max turbo of 3.5 GHz. No, you can actually get 5 GHz on 2 cores, meaning that this CPU seems to have it all: high core count, hyperthreading, high clock speed, integrated graphics for troubleshooting, small package size. But cramming all that power into a tiny die does have its drawbacks. Intel again claims a 95-watt TDP for this part, which is just absurd to even try to justify. Be forewarned, if you're doing any kind of heavy computational loads with the 9900K, invest in a good AIO or at least a super high-end air cooler. You will need it. So which one of these is actually going to give us the best performance in gaming, and will you actually be able to tell a difference? I put all of our contestants in the Gigabyte Z390 Aorus Master motherboard to find out, along with 16 gigs of Patriot Viper LED DDR4 3200 memory, a CryoRig H7 cooler, a Cooler Master V850 power supply, and a couple SSDs from Kingston and Patriot. The H7 cooler may seem like a weak link here, but for gaming loads, the CPUs were running just fine, and even the 9900K I never saw go above maybe the low 70s. All tests were run at 1440p with an EVGA 2080 Ti for the Win 3. Yes, testing at 1080p would put more of the load on the CPUs themselves. However, I wanted my testing to carry more real-world validity. And honestly, most people looking to upgrade to these types of processors are likely also not gaming at 1080p. Running at 4K, however, was not an option, as that resolution almost removes the CPU from the equation entirely. Here are your testing results. It looks like we could have just consulted the pricing chart here to see which one of these four was actually the best gaming CPU for late 2018, early 2019. The 9900K is indeed the champion, but I think more importantly, we can see just how close the rest of the field is. In fact, the spread between the best chip and the worst chip was often as close as a few percentage points. And when we take price into consideration, I think the real winner here is actually maybe the 8700K. It's available, which is important. It's the second cheapest processor on this table. It has hyperthreading, so multitasking becomes easier. It's a great productivity CPU, even for things like video editing. And the 9900K is just not all that impressive. Yes, it's empirically better. It's clocked higher. It's got more cores. It's soldered. It puts up measurably better numbers in games. But it's expensive even at MSRP. You need an LN2 pot to cool it if you're doing anything other than gaming. And guess what? You still can't buy it. The 9600K is a nice balance for gaming. It performs admirably, but did finish last in most results. Yet again, it is the cheapest, and you can buy one today. The 9700K I'm not quite sure what to do with. It's such an odd core and thread count structure, but the performance is mostly there. Then again, it will run you over $400, and for $30 less, I think I'd rather have an 8700K. I'm not really sure who this is targeted at, to be honest. So overall conclusion, the 9900K is the fastest gaming CPU for now. If you need the best of the best and you don't mind either waiting for it or paying the impatience tax, then yes, buy a 9900K. But if you got an 8700K and you're wondering if you should ditch it, I'd say you're golden for at least another generation. So what CPU do you guys want to game with? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to visit the new merchandise store linked in the description and consider supporting directly through Patreon if you feel my content is worthy of your monthly contribution. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.